listeners, and welcome to an interview episode brought to you by the Arts Management and Technology Lab. My name is Alyssa, and I am the podcast producer. In this episode, we sit down with Yuri Suzuki, an international experience and sound designer at Pentagram. One of his latest works include The Sound of the Earth, Chapter 2, featured in the exhibition titled Speechless, Different by Design. The themes of these works intersect between the arts and technology, but they also intersect between sound and people, and they introduce a new method in the way that audiences interact with art. We hope you enjoy this episode brought to you by AMT-Lab. Alrighty, so I'm here today with Yuri Suzuki, where we are video conferencing in all the way from London. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Alrighty. So as I mentioned before in the introduction, a significant portion of your work intersects between the arts and technology with a focus on the relationships between sound and people. So I'm curious, what made you decide to design your work around technology?
Yeah, I think in the beginning, I have my background as kind of study difficulty in the beginning. So I'm a dyslexic myself, and then I have a difficulty for reading and writing. And I have huge passion for art and design as well. But always a dyslexic matter is a problem for me to for example reading sort of kind of reading how it's called a description of the artwork, and sometimes reading music score or something, and which is my biggest difficulty. And at that time, I'm more into the kind of interactive and experiential based artwork, because that actually doesn't need any word, and it's just if you enter into interactive work, I can know what artists think about, what the work try to talking to us. So that's why I'm more into interactive based project. And actually technology itself is coming later, because I feel like sometimes technology is highly useful material to realizing idea.
Okay, excellent. I actually understand that on a personal level, along with an artistic level. I myself did not say my very first words until I was 4 years old. So to hear you say that as well is actually personally very meaningful to me. What made you decide to focus your work on how people's brains interact with sound?
Yeah, I think firstly, I have a passion to be a musician in the beginning. I have a huge music lover in a way, and my dad has got huge record collection, so I was growing up with music quite a lot. And yes, so I have a passion to be a musician, but I had to give up because of many reasons. Firstly, dyslexic matter, I can read any musical score, and also timing, and also kind of the way to living as a musician was quite difficult, and I kind of switched into the more different passion in the way. So but still I moved to England in 2002 or 3 and study at art college, and basically that moment is kind of special moment because I can combine sort of my knowledge and concept into the as a form of the kind of work, but using knowledge as music knowledge and sound knowledge into sort of physical format or interactive based artwork. So that's quite a good change during a study time in England.
All right, cool. So one of the most recent examples that we've seen of your work took place at the Dallas Museum of Art. And this is where audience could view and interact with your piece titled The Sound of the Earth, Chapter 2.
Yeah.
For our listeners who can't see the piece right now, the artwork is a giant black globe with different sound clips embedded into the globe. And each part of the globe... Oh, sorry?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So each part of the globe is unique because each part has a different sound clip that represents a geographic location on the world. And in this way, audiences interact with the piece by simply placing an ear next to the globe and hearing one of the sound clips. Could you tell us about your process in collecting the sound clips and building them into the globe?
Yeah. So basically, this piece is I wanted to piece anyway. And something I aim to do through like my like public art project and installations more about sort of a bonding or like kind of engaging community through the sound experience. That's something that I want to try to do all the time. And then this Sound of Theirs chapter 2 is basically kind of co-creative piece, co-collaborative piece in the way. So we put in a website and we actually kind of people asking submissions that sound which kind of specific like part of the world, such as North America or like Europe and so on. And we can actually, like, people actually, like, any people can submit any like short bit of sound and you can attach into that kind of huge 2 meter, 5 square meter globe in a way. And you can actually can hear the sound through the vibrations inside of that globe. And you can feel like kind of, treat as kind of sonic globe map in a way. That's kind of idea. So in the process, I highly rely on like submission from public through the website. And all sound is actually exhibiting in the way like inside that globe. That's like probably like a process for like creating that piece.
Okay, cool. And did you run into any common issues when you were using or building the piece or some of the sound clips?
Like you mean like a difficulty for collecting sound, or
Um,
I'm sorry, like I didn't get it. Like,
oh no, it's okay. My question is mainly for those who are interested in working with the technology. Like, if there's like common issues that they may run into, such as, for example, any copyright that might come with using some of the sound clips, or
yeah, yeah. Well, in the way, I think we ask kind of people to submit things. Kind of, it is actually kind of exhibiting. They have to agree. It's actually exhibiting in the public museum. That level, like we actually people to ask to agree with that in the beginning. But at the same time, we don't take ownership of the sound at all because like this occasion we are like probably like a touring show anyway. So next destination, High Museum Art in Atlanta. So we probably kind of keep like kind of play back some sound maybe, but unless people update new sound. So, but I'm not like taking ownership of the sound itself. I have platform ownership as artwork, but sometimes submission is actually depend on the area and depend on the kind of occasion going to be changing it.
Okay, cool. All
So
right.
we are not really forcing people to weaving like any right or anything. They still have got kind of right to like ownership of sound recording, but in the beginning they have to agree that it's going to be exhibiting space. So that's kind of basic understanding to people to submit sound, I think.
Oh yeah, it's all part of the agreement. It's all part of communication.
Yeah.
Okay.
We try to be quite soft way for the agreement. Yeah.
Perfect. So the Sound of the Earth Chapter 2 is part of the Speechless Different by Design exhibition in Dallas, Texas. And I actually had a chance to visit and interact with your piece back in November 2019.
Mhm.
One part of this exhibit is to encourage interaction and communication without speech and words. And my personal opinion upon viewing the Sound of the Earth Chapter 2 is that it definitely accomplishes this goal. And it also breaks down some boundaries between different cultures and communities.
I think in a way like yeah, yeah. I think in a way, like this is more of a very quiet piece anyway, but same time it's quiet, like you can hearing and kind of culture difference, and it don't have to appeal so much strong way for the impact. I think so. Kind of slowly, people to understand, then are gonna be very happy with that piece.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I feel like even though it does make a small impact, it is an impact nonetheless.
Yeah.
Mhm. So, in addition, something that I noticed about many of your artworks is that it does have an interactive component to it, whether it involves listening in closely or transforming simple objects into musical instruments. And the
Mm.
one example that I found was your gallery called Furniture Music, which is
Mm.
comprised of different artworks such as the acoustic table. And for our
Mm.
audiences, again, this is a piece where audiences can sit for a cup of tea or a snack and have a conversation, but the table is a
Yeah.
chamber, well, an acoustic chamber where their voices echo and they can hear their voices a lot more clearly. So
Mm.
what do you feel are some of the benefits to having your audiences engage with your work?
Well, I think again, I want to really tell my statement as the best way to understanding opinion from artists or specific artwork or I think in terms of format of the public interactive work is the best way to I can communicate with people coming into the gallery. I think. And I think through the experience, we getting more stronger impression and understanding of the work. I think that's why for me it's kind of highly important things. Actually, instead of just passive way, people actively engage in specific activity is quite important.
Hmm. Okay, and this sounds like it was in a personal gallery space. But my next question, what is something that museums and museum managers should know if they are interested in having interactive pieces in their space?
Yeah, I think something most importantly, more about the liability. It does get down to be quite horrible, like part of the interactive work. At the same time, we highly caring about more safety in the work because people are actually touching or it could be in danger of injury or something. So we have to prepare as much as possible, less danger and make it safe as possible. And the system have to be safe as possible too. And also in terms of interactive work, there's so much difficulty for the maintenance as well because interactive people sometimes quite aggressively touching and kind of banging it and people break it sometimes. So we should be prepared for what kind of scenario gonna be there. So I can really tell museum and also curator or museum manager have to be aware interactive projects require to have a lot of complication of the kind of we have to make sure in the beginning. But in a way, 10 years, I'm almost running my own practice for more than 10 years. We learned quite a lot. We, advanced insurance and safety net, we have a sign off the structure engineer. So we have what kind of, most comfortable for actually create and museum manage actually because we prepare everything for them. But that's actually feeling kind of artists probably have to take over that kind of responsibility as well because that's why it's quite difficult to keep going on interactive and kinetic kind of that kind of project.
Okay. So I have an interesting question then. Do you predict that there's going to be a revolution in the way that audiences interact or view art? Or maybe do you predict that more of these interactive pieces will be featured in galleries or museums?
Well, I think I definitely can feel, engagement of the people in the museum and the art context is quite important as well. So, but it's not only happening now; it has been pointed out for a long, long time anyway, and that's why workshop based and performance became quite popular, and also engagement to the people as well. But in terms of the, interactivity of the work, and that's also one of the choice from artists to take over as well. But I can see different trend. So many people taking that kind of passage as well.
Mhm. Absolutely. Okay, so my next couple of questions have to do with collaboration. So there was
Mhm.
another piece that I found in my research that you did called AR Music Kit. And this is a
Yeah,
particular piece between you and Google's Android. And
yeah.
according to Jamie Green of It's Nice That, the idea came from a
Mhm.
childhood nostalgia of playing with household objects, such as taking a tennis racket and pretending that it's a guitar. So I'm curious, what was it like to collaborate with Google for the project?
Well, I think I was quite lucky position in the way because I'm quite strange position to be honest. I'm an artist, basically. At the same time, I'm positioned as a kind of designer and a partner at Pentagram Design. Pentagram is one of the largest design consultancy company as well. So people sometimes treat me as more of an artist anyway, and in terms of the great collaborator like Google. So so Google basically came to me this was my work, and they feeling like I'm using a lot of playful experiments through the sound and also something interactivity, and that could be fit really good for the Android like an experiment project. So basically, like one specific division called data team from Google came to me to collaborate together for some project. So I think process was kind of highly collaborative because we sit down together and talking about a lot of idea, and we start prototyping it. And once prototype is finished, like they like it, and they start like making and finishing software. So it was like an extremely lucky position for me. Like it's project is really fit to me, like rather than like doing another kind of ability what I can do. So like process is highly collaborative same time. Like seems like almost same as what usually creating my own art project, I think.
Okay, cool. All right. And some of the components or highlights that I saw of the AR music kit is that there's
Mm.
accessibility for gaining access to the app, or perhaps the design was the most important so that it was easy to use and learn. But tell me, what do you feel was like the most critical in the design of this project?
Well, like it's just have to make simple as possible because this kind of technical capability could do more sophisticated, more complicated things. But I would follow like simple as possible because I want to be like sort of like a software or like technology or like especially designing for workshop and children. Like we are targeting to making it. I want to use like children as sort of like Lego in the way like they can discover by themselves and they can actually handling because this is not only like software, it's coming with kind of paper, piece of paper and cut it off. So they can actually kind of, crafting way to like stick on the wall and so on, like expanding as much as they want. So that's something I wanted to try to do. So principle is quite simple, but you can expand yourself like Lego. That's something I want to try from this project.
Okay, awesomeness. Okay, and our final question for today. Can you tell us about your favorite piece of technology?
Well, it's hard to tell because again, like I feel like technology is just method to realizing your idea. But as I'm like doing a lot of music project, my perspective these days we're using quite a lot of like artificial intelligence or machine learning based project because we feel like highly useful to creating music or like creating co-collaborative platform. So, which is actually exciting me quite a lot these days. But I'm not really tend to stick on technology itself, like just using method.
Mhm. I like that. All right. Well, hey, thank you so much again. It was great to chat with you today.
Yeah, thanks so much. Yeah, I actually like I was in Carnegie Mellon University short time, so
Oh my goodness, yeah. Oh yeah,
yeah,
it's a big campus for sure, and there's
yeah,
like tech and definitely there's a big music scene going on here too. So,
yeah. I was I was in there for 2012, 2011, and I used to be Disney research, so I was in the Carnegie Mellon University for a while, so it's quite funny.
oh my
It's really
goodness.
nice city. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like there's a bunch of revolution that always takes place like around Pittsburgh, but otherwise, like in its essence, like it's still like Pittsburgh to its core, and that like really has not changed, or at least from my perspective. I've only been here for 2 years, so
All right. Okay. Yeah. I love it actually. During I lived in for around 1 year, I think. Yeah.
Mhm. Oh my goodness, yes, it's a wonderful city. It's been my favorite place to live so far.
Yeah.
All right,
Absolutely. Thank
so
you.
not a problem. So, for those of you who are interested in checking out The Sound of the Earth Chapter 2 in Speechless Different by Design, the High
Yeah.
Museum of Art in Atlanta, Georgia will have it on view until September 6, 2020. Anyone who wants to view Yuri's work online can visit yurisuzuki.com. That's YURISUZUKI.com. Additionally, Yori's work and 24 additional collaborative artist works can also be found on Pentagram's website at pentagram.com. That's PENTAGRAM.com. We would like to give a special thanks to the Dallas Museum of Art for allowing us to view Speechless Different by Design and for connecting AMT-Lab with Pentagram and artist Yuri Suzuki. To learn more information about the Dallas Museum of Art and some of their special exhibitions, such as Speechless, you may visit their website at dma.org. Thanks for listening to the Arts Management and Technology Lab podcast series. You can read more on the intersection between the arts and technology at www.amt-lab.org. Or you can listen to more interviews and discussions in our podcast series on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, or Stitcher. Thank you for joining us.